Hi everyone, here's another Friday eating disorder recovery question. This one has taken a bit longer to get to you because Mental Health Week fell when the last one was due and then I got confused with my weeks, so that's why this is coming at you now. The question at the heart of this video is about who should be on your team for recovery. So your treatment team, some people call it, your support team, people that are just there for you and help you along your way. There are the obvious inclusions of medical people, so they could be GPs, they could be, if you've had contact with a hospital or residential facility, it could be attached to those. There are people who have therapeutics, so it could be counselling, psychologist, psychiatrist, counsellor, that sort of thing. There's also dietetic and nutritional support that you may choose to have as a support along the way. There are some people choose natural and alternative therapies. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you which ones you should or should not have, because they are all options that have really good benefits for people. And the choice about who to have on your team for those people can depend on your particular struggle with eating, body or weight. It can depend on how long you have been struggling and the effects that have been experienced in your life, physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, those sorts of things, and behaviourally. It can also depend on what you have found helpful or unhelpful and reasons behind that. It depends on your really unique context. So I'm not going to say have this person, don't have that, because it's something that you need to weigh up for yourself and seek advice from people in your life about their opinions on that. What I want to do is expand your idea about what is your team, what is their purpose, and who could be on it. And a really influential inclusion for your team, and quite necessary, I would say, are family and friends and places where you find community. And so places, for example, where community can be found is church for some people. It can be peers of people who have struggled and overcome, or people who are struggling but are helpful and don't pull you back towards eating issues. And that's some people find that part of what is really helpful and part of their team in a way are online forums, but you do have to be wary about the ones that you access and the state of mind when you are accessing them, so that they do remain a positive influence for you. So they're those. So rather than saying who to have and who not to have, steering clear of that, some criteria to consider when choosing your team that I have is you need to be surrounded by people who believe that recovery is possible for you. Not that they believe it's possible for some people under some circumstances, some at the time. They actually have to believe it's possible for you. Okay, given what they know about you, where you're at, where you've been, and where you're heading. It has to be possible for you. They need to believe that, and they need to be recovery focused and pushing you towards that. But also holding space for you to be struggling towards that as well, so that when you are in the struggle, they don't assume the worst, or that you're stepping back, or that you are defeated, or that they give up on you, because that's also not helpful. People on your team need to see beyond the eating, food or weight struggle. They need to be able to see you as a person with hopes and dreams and skills and strengths and something to offer beyond the eating disorder. Because that's where they'll meet you, and when you feel validated within that, that's really, it's amazing what that can do. They also need to, you need to feel that people on your team and who are supporting you, they need to be a good fit for you and your choices. So if you don't have a belief in a particular therapy, let's just say alternative therapies, that's really not your thing, perhaps that's not the first place that you go to seek treatment for this. It may be something that you're open to in the future, but if that's not a natural leaning for you, don't start there. So it has treatment and support people need to fit with choices that you make in other areas of your life and that you believe in and that feel like a good fit. the people need to work in a way and support you in a way that makes sense for you. And that links to what I just explained as well. They need to align with your values and beliefs about recovery, but also about life more broadly. Because you're more than this. You're more than food, weight, or eating struggles. And they need to know that, and you need to be choosing things that benefit you beyond that as well. And if people are on your treatment team, you need a space, and your support team, you need a space where you can be honest. And that honesty, it will vary depending on the person and the role that they have. But the honesty has to be mutual, so that when it looks like things are getting hard and it's getting a bit murky, whether you're moving forward for recovery or stepping back from it for whatever reason, there needs to be a place where you can be honest about that, but also be open to receiving some feedback about that and having that highlighted to you in some way. And you won't have that relationship with everyone, but you need at least one person who has that relationship with you, so that they are a check-in point and can maybe identify things and highlight things for you that you aren't seeing for yourself because you're caught up in the turmoil and the struggle and what's really difficult about this. So you need to have that. For people who are on your team, they need to be in there for the long haul, because recovery can take time. And it is up and down, and you need to know that they're there. And forming relationships of trust and validation and openness and reliance take time to build. So you have to know that when you're starting out with someone, that in 6 months they're going to be there, because that's really valuable in itself. It's important to know that people who are on your support team, they may become unhelpful over time or less helpful because you outgrow them. Your needs over time change as you grow and expand and change in your needs. And that's okay. The person, if we look at a therapist, the person you start therapy with may not be the person that you end with. And I actually think that's a really healthy and natural and good progression, because you're changing and you need to keep choosing people that fit with where you are and where you're heading. So that's not a bad thing, and it's learning to make good choices about that and trusting yourself with that as well. With your team and who is supporting you, it's important to know their purpose for you. Some people have a medical role, some people have a therapeutic role, some people have a behavioral role in your life, or just being present. So are you choosing people to be with you for those reasons? Are you seeking cheerleaders? Are you seeking accountability? Are you seeking just someone to listen? Are you seeking an advice giver? Thinking about who you need and how many of each will help you decide who to invite in as you go along recovery. So I'm not going to tell you who exactly to have on your team, but how to help make informed decisions about who you let in and how you travel through recovery, and who is part of your team and your ally along the way. So that's today's question. If you have any that you'd like me to answer or have some conversation about, send me an email, ellie@anemergentlife.com, or reply to this comment. I would love to have some extra input from you guys. And otherwise, I'll see you next video that I do. See you later.